You are now tuned in to the best damn football recap show going. It is United Football Media's Tell Me About It. And lo and behold, look at this. The Jaguars passed their fraud check with flying colors, and all of a sudden, Scout Southern Charm Sports, he comes climbing up out of the sewer to talk his shit. That's okay. It's even funnier that True's not here this week to defend any kind of slander against the Broncos about what happened last week. Somewhat affecting the Jags situation is what happened to their divisional rivals. The reason that the Colts are in real hot water right now is because of the Jaguars' success along with the Texans. And I guess we'll start there. Last night's game, Monday Night Football. It feels like the most pressing situation because of what happened to the Colts. That is insane because there was a point. It wasn't even that long ago. It felt like November 1st. This was looked at as maybe the best team in football, the most complete team in football. And they are one Houston Texans victory away from being eliminated from the playoffs. They don't even control their own destiny anymore. It is up to the Texans to do that for them, even if they win out. Further on the docket from Monday Night Football, I don't know. I'll ask Tay because I know Tay is he's a real football head. He might have been tracking this. He might have been put. Brock Purdy has had 3 of his best games of his entire career the last 3 weeks. And on Monday Night Football, threw 5 touchdowns. At one point, his only 2 completions was 2 drops. He actually threw a 6th touchdown that was incorrectly ruled incomplete. It was an incredible throw. It was probably his best throw of the night. Should have been a touchdown. Kyle Shanahan is still just bedeviled by challenges. He never wins them. Then he doesn't challenge the ones he would win. Hey, it's a work in progress. 49er defense looking stanky. Not a whole lot going on the defensive side of the ball. But at the same time, Brock Purdy is apexing into something that we have not even seen out of him before. You know, we've talked a lot, been plenty of discussion about Brock Purdy and what he is and what he isn't. He is turning into, over these last 3 games, something that he hasn't even been before. Last night's game, PFF score, what was the highest PFF graded game of any quarterback of the entire season. Colts missing both their corners, but the Niners were missing both their 2 best receivers. So, he's still in this, starting to put to bed the whole, he can't do it he has the Avengers as his wide receivers. He has all these good skill players. He's out there with a wide receiver 3, 4, and 5. The 4 and 5 receivers wasn't even on the damn team in September. Yeah. And he's doing that with these guys. So, and now the knock, now people are saying, well, the guys are getting wide open. It's Shanahan's. Now you're not allowed to throw to people who are open anymore to still be considered a good quarterback. Which, by the way, is not correct. I mean, the one touchdown pass to Kittle was threading the needle. It was kind of a crazy throw. I wish he wouldn't do that kind of stuff. So what, we talked about it the last time we were on, how the 49ers could take the NFC 1 seed. They're kind of cruising right along. Purdy has been on a hot streak, the likes of which even when he was in his MVP season, it didn't look this good. It didn't look like this. I don't know about the prospect. He's going to have to be this good for the next 5 games if they're going to win the Super Bowl, because this defense is getting almost no pass rush whatsoever. It's still a mystery why they didn't make a trade at the deadline to get a pass rusher. He's going to need to be this. But, Tay, do you think people should start paying attention more to the 49ers headed towards the playoffs? And what are you seeing? Have you noticed this tear that Brock Purdy has been on? And what are you thinking of his trajectory as a quarterback?
Should people be put on notice? Yeah, probably. I would say so. 5 touchdowns is you don't see that anymore. Like, you gotta watch games on Saturday if you want to see that. You get 5 touchdowns. You were doing something right. And he doesn't even have his receivers out there. Him and George Kittle just had a great connection all night, and he got hurt. So he could have, like Brock Purdy, he could have had 300 passing yards realistically. It was definitely probably one of the best quarterback games I can remember this year. Yeah, I mean but this is what you would want. Like as a 49ers fan, you want to see your team score 48 right before the playoffs. Just just getting reps in, guys starting to come back from injury, things like that. So I mean, yeah. I would, like I said, guys are starting to come back. Like I'm pretty sure Pearsall will be back by playoff time. Like they'll be close to full roster, other than the guys that are out for the season, of course.
Yeah.
But yeah. I mean, they're definitely making it. I think they clinched the playoff spot, right? So,
Oh yeah, they actually clinched before the game happened
okay.
via the Bears beating the Packers. Amazing,
Mhm.
amazing game, by the way.
Yeah, that
Amazing
was a
game.
crazy game. But the 49ers are for real. I mean, they got this thing going on, getting the ball to McCaffrey a ton. He actually had a really good game.
Yeah,
Actually, he
yeah.
was really efficient. So yeah, I mean, they just got this system going on, and no one can stop it. So yeah, that would
What,
definitely be on notice.
what were your thoughts on the Monday night results? Their Scout.
So I will say shout out Philip Rivers, obviously known Alabama
Hell
high
yeah.
school football coach. But he did kind of get his ass beat in the second half. Oh, sorry.
Oh, you're
But
good.
PG.
Ace told us we were okay on this new era that we have going here. Also, put your mouthpiece in front of your mouth.
Oh, sorry. PG programming. But I will say, essentially, I think the Niners are a really good football team. I'll say that going forward, they do need Pearsall. I think without Pearsall, they're a great team, or they're a good team, but not a great team. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And
Oh
I
yeah.
think you have Kittle, who's currently healthy. I don't think he's 100%. I still think when you see him run routes, it's not perfect. And then you got Juice. I know everybody's saying this might be the last year with Juice. So this is kind of the year you need to capitalize. Now, their one issue is that you have the Bears up next, and then past that, Seahawks. Yes, Seahawks. So those are two teams that are also in the playoff hunt, also
Yeah.
super hot right now. It's what you get with the one seed schedule, right? And then when you get unlucky with the Bears being really good this year. So
Yeah.
I think that
How good are they really? They got a lot of really good stuff happens for them, but we'll
I'm
talk
sure.
about that later. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll discuss that later. But as for now, I do think that the Niners are a good football team, not a great football team until they get some of those healthy guys back. And I think honestly, and yeah, the average Niner team is usually defense first, but this is an offense first Niner team. And I understand that their defense played out and they had great plays, including that one little pick six off a Tyler Warren pass last night, or intended for Tyler Warren, but their offense was fantastic. He should have had an extra passing touchdown. I agree, and they were just dominant. Similar to some of the things that Jacksonville's getting away with. You pass and run so well that then you slip out CMC and he's wide open, right? Or he's at least scoring touchdowns. So it's a really interesting thing to highlight the 49ers. And I know a lot of people are like, oh, well, they've been a great team for all this time. I'm like, not really. It has basically been the same roster, but I don't think the production and everything else you're getting out, especially the offensive side of the football, is anything. I think it's a lot thanks to Brock Purdy, simply because, the 49er Kyle Shanahan system quarterback thing. Everybody says, it's a system quarterback. But when that system quarterback starts balling out, hey, never know.
I mean, there's been other guys in this system, and none of them have the top PFF game of the whole season at quarterback. So show me that. Oh, speaking of which, going right into that was our other main topic off of last week, man. We said it was fraud check week, both the Broncos and the Jaguars. And the Jags could not have passed that test any more flying colors, I don't think. They went into Denver and kind of put it on them. It was close back and forth until late in the fourth, but the Jaguars also pulled away, and they did not back down even one little bit. They looked every bit the competitive team. If we would have considered Denver a contender last week, then we have to consider Jacksonville a real contender after that game because they went every bit blow for blow. Trevor Lawrence had an excellent game. Trevor Lawrence having by far his best season as a pro. This Liam Cohen system seems to be gelling very, very well with what he does, and they're just getting better every single week. And it was a fraud check passed with absolutely flying colors. You can go homer if you want, or you could try to be unbiased. Tell me about it, man. Is this Jaguars team a serious contender? Because I had my doubts leading into this. They, much like the Bears, have really just caught a lot of teams in a lot of bad situations and have benefited from it. But there was none of that really on Sunday. They came out and they whooped some ass in Mile High, in the cold, in the elevation, against a really hot team. Jags, man. I like it. I like what I see. Tell me about it, Scott.
They are 7-1 since the bye, with only one loss to Houston. And with that loss, obviously we all saw it was a terrible choke job, but I think it gave everybody a little kick in the rear end, right? Everybody a little kick in the nans. And with that, I think everyone, kind of locked in. And I will say the past 6 wins have been very clean. Everybody, and I think with some of them, it's like, we beat the Jets by like 50, essentially, right? Could have been worse. And I was like, oh, it's just the Jets, Trevor Lawrence had 6 total touchdowns. Everyone can do that against the Jets. And then he does it against Broncos. And with the Broncos, I don't know if y'all knew this, but everyone was spouting out some stats throughout the week. They going into Sunday, they averaged 16 points given up. The Jaguars doubled that. The total touchdowns from quarterbacks was 13. Trevor had 3 on Sunday. And then on offense, Bo Nix and Cortland Sutton had made a beautiful marriage this year. And everybody was talking about how Cortland Sutton was the top receiver that the Jaguars have played this year, which I think is an absolute lie. Anyways, Jarian Jones did a great job of, not completely locking down, but locking down enough to where they only scored 20 points. And this is a, huge, huge win for the Jaguars. Obviously, yes, a few things went the Jaguars' way. There was like back-to-back drives where I think like the Broncos scored a touchdown off like 60 yards worth of penalties, and the Jaguars scored a touchdown off like 40 yards worth of penalties. But if you're a Broncos fan, your quarterback cannot fumble an inside zone play, and y'all expect to win a game. And I'm just saying that outright. Now I will say I love RJ Harvey. You're my dog. Shout out UCF. But it was just a rough one. But hey, my one offensive MVP and one defensive MVP, and then I'll let y'all talk on it. Parker Washington. He is more than just a punt returner. 145 yards, some of the biggest plays of the game.
Yeah, he was unstoppable, boy. He was balling.
Yes. And then on defense, Jarian Jones, who ESPN only posted the hurdle, but he did hurdle a player out of bounds, which I think he was the one that was hurdled by Saquon, for those unaware. And then he gets the pick to not seal the game, but that was like what led it to be 2 scores. So the Broncos are good, and I think the Jaguars are good. The Jaguars need to show me a little bit more, but hey, boys, listen to this. They have double-digit wins. Travis Hunter hasn't played since like week 7. Mic drop.
What do you got, Tay? What are your thoughts on the Jaguars' performance in Denver on Sunday?
That was definitely a good win. Broncos, the Broncos, they were on a nice win streak. Yeah, I feel like it's been forever since the Broncos lost, and it's been forever since the Jags have lost, really. Both these teams were hot, and the Broncos were just due for this loss. I mean, they've been playing so well. They played. They just, I don't know. They were moving the ball and everything. They just didn't score. It didn't, like Bo Nix. If you look at the box score and everything like that, you would think you would think the Broncos won, but I mean, the Jaguars, they had this is a tough game. Like, playing the 1 seed, the best team in the league, record wise, it's a tough game. Definitely Jaguars definitely put themselves on the map with this one, because I definitely remember the Jags. I want to say they were like 4-3, 5-4, right around that area where you're like, I don't know. A lot of people gave up on the Jags.
Yeah.
Definitely, like that. It wasn't looking too well. They were taking these. I think they lost to like the Seahawks and maybe the Rams or something like that. It was like early on in the year, and a lot of people gave up on the Jags, but they turned up and they've been winning ever since. Like, I mean, they got good wins. They beat the Chiefs, the Chargers. Like they got the Broncos. They got some great wins. So Yeah, I've been liking how the Jags have been playing this year.
Hey, and I will say, when we got our stuff rocked by the Rams and by the Seahawks, I think everyone was kind of like, hey, because the Seahawks and Rams weren't that great. Like we didn't think that they're going to be the 1 and 2 possibly, or I guess record-wise, very good teams in the NFC. But now those losses look better, right? No loss looks great in my opinion. I have that old school football kind of thing. But yeah, and I will say, Mr. Eric, if you have it up. We currently have a Trevor Lawrence with 14 touchdowns and 0 interceptions over the last month.
Hey, like I said, man, he's coming on. I've been very critical of Trevor Lawrence and called him fake many times over the CT's laughing because he knows I've been on Trevor Lawrence's scalp for years. And this Liam Cohen might have brought forth the scheme that unlocks all of this stuff that we've been hearing about for all of these years about what this guy could be and should be. So, hey, good for them if that's how it's going. I also always say I want every team to have a great quarterback. I want every team to have a Pro Bowl quarterback. I want every team to be good so we get awesome matchups and get to watch awesome football every single week. That was a great time this past weekend. Tell you what stood out to you this weekend, man.
Man, that Bears Packers game was crazy. Like, I mean, the Packers, like the Bears were giving them the game. I mean, the Packers they were dealing with some injuries and everything like that. But I mean, the Bears did not want to win that game. Like the Packers had so many opportunities to put it away, but they didn't put it away. And it's been a common theme for the Bears. If you don't put the Bears away, they'll put you away. Like they've been down so many times this year, and things do go their way. Like I can admit that, but they just flipped the switch. The defense plays amazing. The offense, like everyone just takes their game to where it should be. Like they play so lackluster in the first half. Like they look like the worst team in the league in the first half. And then if they're close enough to come back and win in the fourth quarter, they do it, which is kind of, it reminds me of the Vikings. I don't know if y'all remember. It was like maybe 2 or 3 years ago. That Vikings team that lost to the Giants in the playoffs, that is the Bears.
Yeah.
They're that kind of team. So like the same thing happens next year. They could be 7-10, you know.
Yeah, they could
with
regress,
the 12th pick in the draft. Like that's not, they're playing a scary game. Like you're not gonna be too successful. And I love the Bears. I wanted the success for them.
They were your darling pick before the year. Your sleeper pick was the Bears. Mine was the Patriots.
It's just not a good way. Like it's working, but it won't work eventually. It's gonna, the luck is gonna run out. The fourth quarter comebacks are gonna run out. Like it's not gonna always be there, you know. So like they're gonna be playing a team that's just not gonna allow you to come back. Like some teams will actually put them away. Like you can't just play that game, you know, every week. So I'm liking that they have the ability to do that, but I need to see more. Like when they played, they blew the Cowboys out. They need to do more of that, and less of the last second field goals and stuff. Like they need to get some more in the year off with a nice dominant win.
Well, I don't think it's going to be happening this weekend, baby. That 49ers Bears game is going to be stressful. I might not even watch the damn thing. That game's going to be nuts.
I will say, as a Caleb Williams supporter, aka he was like my fantasy quarterback for like 5 weeks. Anyways, the Dallas game, they had that offense just completely loose. They had all the plays were on the board, and like they were like vertical passing attack is what that team needs to run. And I think Liam, he had the couple 100-yard performances from Swift, and I love Swift. I'm a Georgia guy, right? But you have to pass the ball with this football team you have this year. You can work in year 2 a more mixed game, but like I'm so dead serious when I say this, that the Bears will win multiple playoff games if they can just trust their passing attack. I understand you need to run the ball in the playoffs to win, right? But the Bears, you have your 3 guys as your receivers, and then you have a bunch of tight ends that can play football, right? And then like just trust those guys a little bit. And you can even like pass the ball with 22 personnel because Kyle Monangai has come to play. Kyle Monangai is like if there was like a most improved player, it'd have to be him in the league, I think, at least in the NFC. So
Coming on into this weekend, what things are looking spicy to you guys? I'm looking at, I know, Tay, there's a personal connection here. The Ravens are in deep doo-doo. They got to win out. The Steelers got to lose out. Are the Ravens cooked? Tay.
Yeah. I think their season's over, but I'm not gonna lie. Like, if they won it, they can still do it because I mean, I don't know if Jordan Love's gonna play. He got a concussion. When they played against the Bears, and then Malik Willis, he's also dealing with the shoulder injury. Every single player in their team's hurt. Basically. For the Packers. So if the Ravens won it, they can beat them. But if they play like the Ravens, they'll lose, and they'll just be 7-10, like, just to end off the year. But I mean, like, it's if they won it, they can get. It's gonna be a tough game. Like, they definitely have to go. They got to go in the Lambeau. It's not it's not at home for them. Like, if they won it, they can. But I don't know the way they play. They like losing games. They fumble a lot at the end of the games. They turn the ball over. I think they like sabotaging themselves. So the way they've been playing, I'm gonna say they're gonna lose this game.
Is Indianapolis getting eliminated this weekend? This happens with either a Houston Texans win at LA or a Colts loss against the Jaguars this weekend. Are the Colts going to survive the weekend, Tay? I'll go to you next, Gal.
I think so. I think so.
Oh, you think they're going to beat the Colts and the Chargers are going to beat the Texans?
I think so. So just so that week 18 match, I think they play against each other, and they would play for that last playoff spot. It's gonna fall like that, and that's gonna be great. That's gonna be great. So yeah.
What do you think, there, Scott? Are the Jags going to send the Colts packing this week?
My only okay. Oh, there's this big hoopla and Jaguars chat I'm in about this game, and it's because Saturday we find out whether the Texans or Chargers win before we play the game. So the huge big brain thing is like, hey, we cannot improve our seeding. But if we lose, and I'm not saying they're intentionally losing to the Colts, but like the big brain conspiracy is that if they lose to the Colts, so the Colts have something to play for, they'll beat the Texans. And I mean, it kind of makes sense. They're a better matchup than the Chargers are. I do think the Chargers win just because, like, I think if the Chargers don't win, Herbert and company have so much to answer for, and the Harbaugh that can actually win one-score games have so much to answer for. And then, like, and I will say one thing with, like, the Ravens as a Derrick Henry owner in fantasy football, give the man the football in the fourth quarter and they might actually win games. Thanksgiving, he didn't get the ball in the fourth quarter. The last game, he didn't get the ball in the fourth quarter. Both those games, he had like 75 yards in 3 quarters and then doesn't get a single. Anyways, but no, I don't think the Colts are making it past the weekend. But
the only real question we have on the NFC side, Detroit has to win out and Green Bay has to lose out. So that would take Green Bay has to lose to the Ravens, which obviously the Ravens need that win as well, like you just said. And then Detroit has to win this weekend. And Detroit would have to win at the Vikings on Christmas. Is Detroit headed off into that good night there, Tay, this weekend?
Nah, they'll beat the Vikings. They'll beat the Vikings.
Well, so that means that you're predicting that Detroit is going to beat the Vikings, and that the Ravens are going to beat the Packers.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. I mean, the Ravens are fighting for their lives, and Green Bay might not have their quarterback.
That's really what it is. If they did, I would go with the Packers, but I don't even know who's going to play for them, so I just can't pick them.
And even Willis is hurting, so who knows what the hell's going to be going on. And they're pretty safely in, I believe. So it's not like, give it the old try. But I don't know if they desperately need this game to risk either Malik Willis or Jordan Love that much. Scout, what about you, man? Are the Lions out of here this weekend?
Wow, the NFC sucks. When he said they're safely in, I'm like, they only have 9 wins.
Yeah.
Turns out there's only like there's only two 10-win wild cards, and they're both in the West. Okay. I don't think that the Lions can overtake it. I think that was a huge loss to the Steelers. It was, unexplainable. Um, and with all that, I just think that like the Lions have had such a rough year. Obviously, the 1 seed last year to this, or the 1 seed in their division. Um, it's just like because if you look at they've had some great games, but like the last five, they've split the last. No, they're not even split. Wow, they've won two of their last four. They've lost the Steelers, Rams, Packers, and Eagles in their last, or two of their last six. Not two last four. Um, it's just like a rough end, especially playing the Bears at the end. I think the Bears 100% win that game. The Bears would obviously need it for seeding. They're currently battling with the Eagles for the 2 seed. And then depending on what happens with the NFC West, the Bears also have, like the Jaguars, have an outside chance of the 1 seed. So yeah, it'll be interesting. I think the Lions are sadly out of the playoff, and it's going to be in a really odd spot for Lions fans because you're not in that top 10 discussion either. So you're going to have to settle for like the 18th pick and not play playoff football either. So and I think I don't want to talk down on the Lions too much. I think they'll be in this purgatory next year without like massive change because some of their cap numbers and some of it doesn't line up.
Biggest, only other biggest question we got, and it looks maybe it is, maybe it isn't, but we've had more surprising stuff go down. Panthers, Buccaneers. Buccaneers are going against the Dolphins, and the Panthers are going against the Seahawks.
Okay.
So if the Panthers were to lose against the Seahawks and the Bucs were to win against the Dolphins, which I think both of those scenarios are what we would expect, it comes down to a loser leaves town match next week between the Panthers and the Bucs. So is that what we think is going to happen? Do we think the Bucs and Panthers, I guess, if the Panthers won and the Bucs lost, then the Panthers win the division and it's over. So do we think the Bucs? So really, the Bucs are the ones who are in danger this week. Do we think the Bucs are going to make it to next week? Which would mean Bucs win against the Dolphins, Panthers lose against the Seahawks.
Yeah, I mean, I think the Bucs win this division in a backwards sort of motion. I think the Panthers are good, but I do believe the Bucs hold their own destiny.
Well, both teams kind of control their own destiny, but yes, they do. If the Bucs win out, then yes, they will make it.
But if it goes down to a Week 18 game in Tampa Bay, I am very heavily leaning Tampa Bay, and I don't think the Dolphins could beat most of the teams that are in the college football playoff right now. So yeah, the Dolphins are in a really rough shape.
Whip the shit out of the Bills, so there's that.
Yeah, but
everyone's prohibitive Super Bowl champions. Tay, what do you think, man? Is Tampa Bay going to survive this week and go on to a showdown next week?
Yeah, they can survive. They got a nice, they got a nice game. They've been on a losing streak, so they definitely need to win this game to stay alive. And I think with their backs against the wall, and them absolutely needing to win, yeah, I think they'll get it done.
And so, neither one of you give the Panthers any shot against the Seattle Seahawks.
I think they'll be competitive. They'll definitely be competitive. Like the Panthers would be the team to beat them. Honestly, like I wouldn't be surprised. I feel like they have a win like that. They beat someone a couple weeks ago that was really good. It's like they had no business beating
Rams. Yeah.
Like I mean, they're the team to do it. So I wouldn't be surprised.
Everybody's so in love with the Seahawks, but the Seahawks got whooped by the Rams and got beat by the Niners. So, and got taken to the absolute limit by the Colts, who the Niners whooped on Monday night. So, I don't know if it's an automatic that they're gonna just spank the Panthers and
transitional property,
keep the Buccaneers safe. I mean, you compare. Unfortunately, we have a tough time doing that in college football anymore these days. But it's very easy to compare. Mutual opponents in the NFL these days. Well, we hope that we got, because next week, hopefully things will still be interesting. We'll have some elimination games and everything won't get wrapped up. Next week, we'll just be talking about seeding and positioning. Still be interesting, still be some stuff on the line, but a lot is on the line this weekend, and that is the NFL's Christmas gift to all of you. Merry Christmas. Happy Christmas Eve. Christmas Eve is a big deal. Always has been in our house. Happy Christmas Eve. Merry Christmas to everybody. Everyone have safe travels. Have a great time. Hope you're listening to this or listening to this in the car on the way to enjoying family time or watching it while you wait for family to come over. One or the other, Merry Christmas to all. And hopefully it's a great weekend of games. This is United Football Media. Tell me about it.
Duval.